On a December morning in 2025, the world awoke to breaking news. Philippine and Chinese vessels were locked in a tense standoff near the Balabac Strait, a narrow passage that had suddenly become the focus of international attention. The reality on the water was fraught with tension. Filipino fishing boats, some weathered by years at sea, found their path blocked by the imposing presence of the China Coast Guard, whose ships loomed large and unyielding. These steel giants, bristling with authority, sent a clear and unmistakable message of dominance in these fiercely contested waters, their hulls casting long shadows over the smaller Filipino boats. From a hidden jungle outpost, a young Philippine Marine lieutenant, barely out of his teens, tracked every movement on the horizon, his binoculars never leaving the ships, relaying urgent updates to the Palawan command center. Every radio call crackled with tension. Every vessel's position was monitored with painstaking care. One wrong move, one misunderstood signal could ignite a crisis that might draw in the world's superpowers. For the fishermen, this confrontation was deeply personal. These waters were not just their livelihood, but their ancestral grounds, passed down through generations. Their heritage, their very way of life, was at stake. Mang Tonio, the respected lead captain, stood at the helm, coordinating his fellow fishermen with calm determination. He refused to back down, knowing that retreat would mean surrendering their rights and dignity. His small, weather-beaten boat, flying the Philippine flag, became a powerful symbol of national sovereignty and resistance, a lone figure standing up to overwhelming odds. In the command center, officers watched anxiously as red and blue icons inched ever closer on glowing digital maps. Chinese and Philippine ships locked in a silent, high-stakes standoff. Data streamed in from drones and satellites, every movement scrutinized by analysts. The tension was palpable, each update carrying the weight of potential conflict. The world watched from afar, but for those living on Balabac Island, the stakes were immediate and painfully real. Families gathered on the shore, eyes fixed on the horizon, hoping for peace, but bracing for the worst. The fishermen's quiet defiance was matched by the military's unwavering resolve. Both stood ready, united by a shared sense of duty and destiny. The question hung in the air: should they escalate or de-escalate? Every decision was fraught with consequence. The fate of a nation, and perhaps the region, hung in the balance. This was more than a territorial dispute. It was a test of will, a confrontation that would define the future of the region and the resolve of its people. The line in the sand had been drawn, and neither side was willing to step back. On Balabac Island, tension seeped into daily life, coloring every routine with a sense of uncertainty. The once peaceful rhythms of the village now pulsed with a quiet anxiety, as if the whole community was holding its breath. Market chatter and radio broadcasts now centered on foreign ships, not fish. Conversations that once revolved around the day's catch or the weather had shifted, replaced by worried whispers about distant vessels and unfamiliar threats. Fishermen shared updates on ship sightings, their radios buzzing with warnings and urgent voices. Every new report was passed along quickly, as if the sea itself was speaking through the static. The Philippine Marines, once a small presence, now patrolled beaches and manned checkpoints, their mission clear: first line of defense. Their uniforms and weapons were a constant reminder that the island was no longer just a remote paradise, but a front line. Children pointed at Navy patrols. Elders watched the horizon, alert to every silhouette. Even the youngest and oldest felt the weight of vigilance, their eyes searching the waves for any sign of change. The island's tranquility was replaced by vigilance. Streets that once echoed with laughter now held a tense silence, as neighbors peered from windows, always on alert. Locals and soldiers formed a tight intelligence network, blending technology with local knowledge. Meetings became more frequent, with maps and phones in hand, as everyone worked together to keep the island safe. The Marines relied on fishermen for real-time information. In return, the military's presence offered protection. This partnership grew stronger each day, built on trust and necessity. Fishermen ventured further, emboldened by the nearby shield of the armed forces. The sight of Navy ships on the horizon gave them courage, even as uncertainty lingered. Radio chatter in Tagalog and local dialects bound the community and military together. Every message, every warning was a thread weaving the islanders into a single, watchful unit. They became sentinels, united by a shared purpose. Determination replaced fear as villagers and soldiers stood side by side, ready for whatever might come. The island's new reality: everyone was a guardian. From young to old, each person played a role in protecting their home, their eyes always scanning the horizon. Balabac stood ready, its people and soldiers watching the horizon together, united in vigilance and hope for peace. determined to defend their way of life. Balabac's transformation was marked by new radar domes rising above the jungle. These powerful systems tracked ships and planes deep into the South China Sea, feeding data to a high-tech command center. The era of maritime blindness was over. On the coast, technicians maintained advanced sensors, creating a digital shield around the strait. Every vessel was identified and tracked, military threat or not. The command center fused data from drones, satellites, and radars, giving commanders real-time awareness. This leap in technology, achieved with international support, made Balabac a nerve center for the nation's southern defense. Interoperability with allies like the US meant information could be shared instantly in a crisis. Balabac was no longer just an outpost, it was a vital node in regional security. The island's digital shield protected not just itself, but the entire archipelago. The Philippines could finally see and respond before threats arrived. The Balabac standoff made global headlines within hours. Satellite images and live analysis thrust the island into the spotlight, its name echoing in world capitals. The Philippines issued a strong protest. The US reaffirmed its defense commitments. Balabac became a symbol of the real-world stakes in the South China Sea dispute. Strategists and think tanks dissected its strategic value, commanding vital sea lanes between the South China and Sulu Seas. The island's militarization was seen as Manila's answer to China's island building. Every Philippine move was now scrutinized by the world. The challenge shows strength without provoking conflict. Balabac was now a test of national will and international resolve. The island's fate had become a barometer for the region's future. Once, Balabac was a remote paradise. Its untouched beaches stretched for miles, and rare wildlife thrived in the dense forests and crystal-clear waters. The island was a hidden gem, far from the bustle of the mainland, where nature reigned supreme and time seemed to slow down. Life here was simple and harmonious. Its people, a blend of the indigenous Molbog tribe and settlers from other islands, lived by the tides and the rhythms of the sea. Fishing, farming, and age-old traditions shaped their days, and the community was tightly knit. But change began subtly. A few Marines arrived, their presence barely noticed at first, bringing with them a sense of curiosity and uncertainty. Soon a new Coast Guard post appeared, then came roads, heavy equipment rumbling through the jungle, and trucks carving new paths across the island's heart. A deep-water pier followed. Military infrastructure began reshaping the coastline, changing the face of Balabac forever. Radar domes rose on the hills, their white shapes stark against the green, watching over the sea and sky. The skyline was altered. For locals, the transformation was jarring. There were new jobs and better roads, but also growing environmental worries and a sense that something precious was slipping away. Many felt a deep sense of loss as the familiar landscape changed before their eyes, and memories of the old Balabac grew more distant. The island now balanced two identities. On one side, a natural haven of forests and beaches, on the other a strategic outpost, its future uncertain. Marines now patrolled near tourists, their presence a constant reminder of the island's new role. Helicopters buzzed overhead, their engines mingling with the calls of tropical birds, a symbol of change echoing through the trees. The naval base stood as a symbol of security and national resolve, its gates open to the future, but closed to the past. Yet just offshore, marine sanctuaries still thrived, teeming with life, a reminder of the island's enduring beauty and resilience. Balabac's story became a tale of two islands, one of breathtaking beauty, the other of strategic resolve, forever linked by fate and geography. The paradise of old now coexisted with a hardened military outpost. The island's future would be shaped by both, as Balabac stood at the crossroads of nature and necessity. Fortifying Balabac was a direct response to China's assertiveness in the West Philippine Sea. The island's location at a critical maritime choke point made it indispensable for national defense. A strong presence here let the Philippines monitor and control vital sea lanes, protecting its southern flank. The buildup shielded the livelihoods of thousands of fishermen, ensuring safe access to rich fishing grounds. Balabac became the southern anchor of the nation's defense line. It was a declaration the Philippines would defend its sovereignty and uphold international law. Balabac was now a symbol of national resolve. On Balabac, Marines and fishermen forged a powerful partnership. Fishermen, with their deep knowledge of the sea, became the military's eyes and ears, reporting unusual activity via encrypted messages. This grassroots intelligence network proved invaluable. The military's presence reduced illegal fishing, smuggling, and piracy, making the waters safer. Soldiers enforced maritime law and trained fishermen in rescue and reporting skills. In return, the community welcomed the Marines, sharing meals and support. This bond strengthened the island's social fabric and sense of patriotism. Balabac became a model for civilian-military cooperation. Here, every citizen played a role in defense. United, they stood as guardians of their home. Balabac's new naval base is a modern fortress. A deep-sea pier now hosts the Navy's largest warships, enabling rapid response to threats. The upgraded airstrip handles transport planes and fighter jets, linking the island to the mainland and boosting surveillance. Layered defenses include advanced radars, signal intelligence arrays, and soon, anti-ship missile systems. This porcupine strategy aims to make any attack costly for aggressors. All systems feed into a hardened command center, the brain of the island's defense. Data from sensors, ships, and aircraft is fused for instant decision-making. Secure links connect Balabac to national and allied commands. The buildup is more than infrastructure. It's a cohesive, modern bastion for 21st century conflict. Balabac is now a linchpin in the nation's security. The island stands ready for whatever comes next. Balabac's fortification reshaped the Indo-Pacific's balance of power. It marked the Philippines' bold pushback against years of Chinese expansion. U.S. support, joint exercises, intelligence sharing and funding signaled a revitalized alliance. Balabac became a key piece in a regional deterrence strategy, but the risks are real. Military buildup raises the chance of miscalculation and crisis. The logistical burden is immense, and Beijing may respond with its own escalation. The goal: peace through strength. Deterrence, not provocation. A credible defense gives Manila leverage at the negotiating table. The challenge is to avoid turning Balabac into a flashpoint. The island's fate now reflects the nation's will and the region's future. Balabac's watch has begun. Its destiny is tied to the Philippines' quest for security and peace. The hardened frontier stands as both shield and symbol,